A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of Amity School of Architecture and Planning and Amity School of Architecture and Planning, Amity University, Haryana, Gurugram, and Haryana Regional Chapter, Institute of Town Planners, India, myself, Kumud Dhanvantri, Assistant Professor and Coordinator I'm Planning, Amity School of Architecture and Planning, would like to extend a very warm welcome to our respected dignitaries, faculty members, and dear students. I am extremely privileged to welcome the respected Pro Vice Chancellor Ma'am and Dean Academics, Amity University, Haryana, Professor Dr. Padmakali Banerjee, the District Town Planner, Gurugram from the Department of Town and Country Planning, Shri Sanjay Kumar, the Chairperson, Haryana Regional Chapter, ITPI, and Senior Town Planner, Shri S.S. Chauhan, Director, Amity School of Architecture and Planning, Professor Dr. Ela Gupta. And I also welcome my co-host for today's event, Dr. Shashi Mehta, Assistant Professor, Amity School of Architecture and Planning. May I now invite Dr. Ela Gupta ma'am for the opening remarks and a welcome address. Dr. Ela Gupta is the Director, Amity School of Architecture and Planning, Gurugram, and is tirelessly working for the progress of the school since her joining. She did her Bachelor's of Architecture from VRC Nagpur and Masters of Urban and Rural Planning from IIT Roorkee. She has done a PhD in Earthquake Disaster Management from IIT Roorkee, which is also the primary research interest of Dr. Gupta. She has also done PG Diploma in Human Resource and Public Relations from Madras University. Dr. Gupta has worked as consultant for UNDP, Government of Punjab, and Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, on various projects. She has widely published her research in reputed journals and books. Previously, ma'am had worked as Director, MBS School of Architecture and Planning, Indraprastha University, New Delhi. Recently, she has been interviewed and covered as India's 10 must-watch influential women leader by Higher Education magazine. She is also coordinating the activities of Amity Mega Center for Natural and Man-Made Calamities, which is a critical research cluster of Amity University. Dr. Gupta, I welcome you once again. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kumud. A very good morning, everyone. In these times of rapid urbanization, inclusive development, where all sections of society should get equal opportunity of growth and development is most important. Raising disparities cause marginalization, distress, low quality of life, increased crime, women's safety issues, and many more problems. There is an increasing need for the future planners to be extremely sensitive about the socio-economic issues our cities are facing, and inclusive growth of cities is the only solution to this. We must engage with the community in the planning process and ensure that they have a representation so that the issues faced by them are addressed properly. This one-week workshop on inclusive growth and public participation in planning aims at sensitizing the planning students for various critical socio-economic issues of our cities. I heartily welcome our respected Pro Vice Chancellor Padmakali Banerjee ma'am, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Mr. S.S. Chauhan for co-hosting this one-week workshop with us. I welcome Kumud and Shashi, who have been planning for this workshop and who are hosting this event. And most importantly, I welcome all students, faculty, research scholars of Amity School of Architecture and Planning and all others for this inaugural session. A special welcome note to the enthusiastic team of students from Columbia University, New York, Ms. Ronnie Flang and students team from Masters in Sustainability Management from Columbia University, as they are also joining the sessions and also hosting one of the sessions in this workshop. For the sake of people outside Amity University, I would like to mention that Amity University Gurugram since 2011 is committed to delivering high quality education in many fields, and this year it has been accredited by NAAC with A grade. Its 110 acres campus at Manesar is India's first and Asia's second green campus. The platinum rated green building is beautiful and promotes environmental sensitivity within the students and faculty members. Amity School of Architecture and Planning runs courses in Bachelor of Planning, Bachelor of Architecture, Master of Planning in Urban and Regional Planning, PhD in Planning since 2011. So far, 4 PhD scholars have been awarded degrees and 17 are presently enrolled and are engaged in conducting very critical research in some planning issues. The school is making good progress and has established itself as a leading institution in India. With that brief introduction, I once again extend a very hearty welcome to all of you. Later, I'll be introducing the workshop schedule and all in detail. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now have the pleasure of inviting our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, ma'am, and Dean Academic, Professor Dr. Padmakali Banerjee, to address the gathering. Dr. Banerjee is an eminent management professional, a thought leader, an institution builder, a leadership coach, a celebrated author, and an influencer. A doctorate from University of Delhi, she is the fellow of the prestigious Semantic Ink Board Society. Her current research interests include leadership studies, optimism and well-being, psychometric assessment, curriculum design, entrepreneurship, and sustainability. Professor Dr. Banerjee has the Center for BRICS Studies, a center of excellence practice, research, and outreach. As the Pro Vice Chancellor and Head Quality and Accreditation, she has been involved in strategic planning and leads the development and implementation of the university's academic processes, and has spearheaded many innovative initiatives, including the introduction of a flexible choice-based credit system. Some of her recent awards include prestigious 2018 Greenbuild Leadership Award from USGBC for her contribution towards sustainability, and Award of Excellence from INSPA, the prestigious Indian School Psychology Association, for her contribution in the field of psychology. Her book, The Power of Positivity, Optimism, and the Seventh Sense, published by Sage, is a popular choice globally. She is the creator of several psychometric test tools, including Optimism Index, a predictive tool for success used as screening tool for selection and training in corporates. Professor Dr. Banerjee, I welcome you once again, and I must say, ma'am, that very effectively you represent inclusivity and women empowerment in Amity University, Haryana. Hence, your persona is an inspiration to all of us, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Kumud. That was very beautiful words. Dr. Ila, let me first compliment you and your able team for hosting such an important, day and celebrating it over the week for a training program in this particular area. My gratitude to Mr. Singh and to Mr. Sanjay Kumar for joining us. And this is going to be very important. And it's sure your passion and dedication that you have agreed to be part of this great initiative. Dear participants, as you have heard, Amity University Haryana, which is a research and innovation-driven university, we are committed for quality education, robust curriculum design, delivery, industry integration, and internationalization. Post-COVID, we have seen the entire world changing, and for very long, we have been talking about climate change. For very long, we have been talking about sustainable developmental goals. But during the COVID times, we all were shaken up. We are aware of the problems of town planning across different parts of the world and also in India. Very recently, you may have seen that the state of Haryana declared a week of, I would say, work from home for students because of the level of pollution that has risen. So these are some of the very great concerns beyond the concern of mental health well-being, the knowledge about town planning. So we might have to go back to the older times to understand historically how different civilizations came up and what happened to the planning aspect within these centers. So today, the advantage and disadvantage both is in technology. So one has to really identify what is going to help in development of a good township or a society, or for example, a particular state or a country as a whole, and but what kind of influence it is going to have to the overall health and population and the other environmental hazards. So I definitely would like from this particular session of the next 4 or 5 days to identify a roadmap to create a better world, create a more happier and a more sustainable world. Very recently, I have been introduced to a very interesting concept which many of you are aware of, the Govardhan Eco Village, very close to Mumbai, where they are developing, where it has also received award and recognition from United Nations about how they have created a very sustainable village in terms of bringing in renewable energy, in terms of using all the other variables to make it into a very effective and sustainable manner. And wherever there is planning, there has to be a planning for education and skill development. So I would also request Dr. Ela and her team to work on that, so that we are very closely tied to the Government of India for skill development programs. Very recently, we have become part of the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan at Amity University, Haryana in Gurugram, and we are supporting 5 villages around us to identify planning and other measures to improve life and living of people next to our university. Our students of architecture, I'm very proud of them. Many of our alumni and planners have been very well placed in life. At the same time, I would urge them to understand the rural population within India and see how a town planning can be done only when you plan the villages around the township. So with these words, I wish you all the very best. And once again, Mr. Singh and Mr. Sanjay Kumar, we are very happy and delighted to host you on this forum. Best wishes, and I also want to extend a warm welcome to every participant on behalf of our distinguished Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Aseem Chauhan, who is committed to innovation and higher education. All the best to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Your energetic words enlightened the virtual atmosphere of this workshop. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Now I invite Shri Sanjay Kumar ji for his keynote address. Shri Sanjay Kumar ji is presently working as the District Town Planner, Planning Division, Gurugram, Department of Town and Country Planning, Haryana. After completing his master's in urban planning from School of Planning and Architecture in 2000, he started his own architecture practice in the same year. In 2002, he joined Town and Country Planning Department as an assistant town planner and remained posted at headquarters Chandigarh and field office Rohtak. Mr. Sanjay Kumar was promoted as the district town planner in 2007 and remained posted at various field offices at Rewari, Chhajjar, Panchkula, Ambala, and Mahendragarh. He got further posting at Town and Country Planning Department and HSIIDC headquarters and the field offices too. In the mentioned different roles and postings, Mr. Kumar remained actively involved in the preparation of development plans and policy formulation, transit-oriented development policy, industrial policy, affordable group housing, transferable development rights, new integrated license policy, industrial planning are some of the policy endeavors of Shri Sanjay Kumar. Shri Sanjay Kumar, sir, I welcome you once again, and I also thank you that you could manage to provide us some time in spite of your very busy schedule, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. Ela and Amity School of Architecture and Planning and Shri S.S. Chauhan, Chairperson, ITPI Haryana Regional Chapter, for hosting such an event on account of the World Town Planning Day celebrations. I also extend my congratulations to the school for the rapid progress in the decade and for deepening its footprints into the planning sphere in the state as well as in the country. I believe celebrating this day by conducting a week-long workshop on the theme of inclusive growth and public participation will surely transform young minds and sensitize them to the role and challenges of inclusivity and public participation in planning and decision making. Rapid urbanization in Haryana is transforming its cities and towns at a very fast rate. As a result, we have to deal with growing number of slum dwellers, overburdened infrastructure and services, environmental depletion, and a huge population to manage with, especially in the metropolitans of the state. Similarly, the Indian scenario is no exception to this. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, as reflected in the 17 SDGs and 169 targets, calls for global partnership to ensure peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and into the future as well. It is recognized that ending poverty and other deprivations must go hand in hand with strategies that improve health and education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth in a sustainable manner. India is committed to achieving these SDGs and taking many important initiatives. The government has been focusing on provisioning of assets such as schools, institutes of higher learning, hospitals, access to sanitation, water supply, road connectivity, affordable housing, skills and livelihood opportunities. This gains significance given the fact that India is home to the world's youngest population, as half of its population is below the age of 25. This demographic advantage can be reaped only and only if education, skilling, and employment opportunities are provided to the young population. As the world aspires to achieve the SDGs by 2030, one of the most important factors which will determine whether countries achieve their targets set under SDGs will be gender equality. The government has initiated several programs, including Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, to mainstream women and make them active agents of change in the society. Community participation or participatory planning are the terms which are used interchangeably but aim at involving people in the community to the maximum benefit of the whole of the society. Community participation program is about gathering different views from whoever wants to participate and making people in the city feel welcome to voice their opinions. Participatory planning is usually used by planners to get people to come together on various important issues faced in the city. There are many strategies that are used to bring the community together, and these usually involve meticulous planning and research. In view of the above, the organized workshop is a platform for the students to understand the depth of challenges they are expected to deal with. Planned exercises will facilitate students for incorporating, taking a public opinion on the contemporary struggles of the cities. With these words, I convey my wishes to the students to perform their best during the workshop and learn in depth in the context of the theme. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very
Once
good,
again, I thank you.
Mr. Kumar. Very nice and very important word shared by you. And Dr. Leela, we would definitely want him to visit the campus at a better, favorable time.
Yes, ma'am, definitely will invite him.
Sure.
Thank you, sir, once again. And thank you, PVC ma'am. I must say that once again, I am thanking you, sir, for providing us your valuable time for the keynote address. Now, I invite Shri S.S. Chauhanji for his address on inclusive growth and public participation in planning. Shri Sudhir Singh Chauhanji is the chairman at Haryana Regional Chapter, Institute of Town Planners, India. Apart from this, at present, he is also working as senior town planner in the Department of Town Planning of Haryana, a graduate civil engineer and master's in urban planning and MBA. He is having an extensive experience of over 32 years in the field of town and country planning, as well as Sir also devoted 9 years of his service to the teaching and research. He is an outstanding officer who formulated various people-friendly policies in the state of Haryana. He has a multifaceted experience in the field of planning, such as designing, execution of buildings, construction work, and preparation of development plans, town planning schemes, planning of residential and industrial sectors. He also provided his services at Municipal Corporation Gurugram, SSIIDC, Haryana Housing Board, SSAMB on deputation basis. Besides, as I already mentioned, that sir has provided his 9 years of service to teaching and research at the College of Engineering, Nagpur. I also want to add that after the onset of COVID-19, as the chairman HRC ITPI Haryana Regional Chapter, Shri Chauhan ji efficiently has been organizing many online events on various issues of planning. Mr. Chauhan, I welcome you once again for your experience field words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your kind words. And I'm also thankful to consider me as a speaker for the inaugural function. And it is my proud privilege to welcome you all on behalf of Haryana Regional Chapter and Amity School of Architecture and Planning, Amity University, Gurugram, which is hosting a 5 days seminar, 5 days online workshop on inclusive growth and public participation. So I am welcoming everybody, all the participants, all the students and the panelists on this, and Sanjay, my colleague. We are very thankful that you are sparing your time, irrespective of your very, very hectic schedule, and that Dhanvati ma'am, Ila ma'am, and I'm also thankful to Padmakali ma'am, Banerjee ma'am, जिन्होंने हमें opportunity दी कि we come here and at least we can share our views. And we are very thankful to you कि World Town Planning Day you are celebrating in such a good manner, and with the 5 days seminar. This is very workshop. It is a very vital thing in this moment, because World Town Planning Day is a special day to recognize and promote the role of planning in creating livable conditions. The International Organization for World Town Planning Day was founded in 1949 by late Professor Carlos Maria of the University of Buenos Aires to advance public and professional interest in the planning, both locally and abroad. So this is the brief of the Town Planning Day. And because we are celebrating this Town Planning Day, so I start my addressing with the word Town Planning Day, although we were knowing most of it, but I would like to brief a bit of it. So what Town Planning Day, so I'm congratulating all the town planners on that day. World Plan Day is a special day to recognize and promote the role of planning in the creative, livable communities. World Town Planning Days present an excellent opportunity to look at the planning from a global perspective and encourage its members to consider planning challenges and solutions around the globe on that day. The Haryana Region Chapter endorses World Town Planning Day as a strategy to promote a broad-based awareness, support, and advocacy of community and regional planning among the students of various schools on each year.
Organization of the World I think the slides are not changing. You're on the second slide, I think. We are still seeing the first slide of the poster.
Right, sir. Very sorry.
Yeah, it is not.
The international organization, जो मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया, this has been why we are celebrating this day. To draw attention to the aims, objectives, and progress of the urban and regional planning abroad the globe, to engage local citizens and officials in the value of planning, and to participate in shaping their communities. To highlight the valuable contributions and sound planning has made to the quality of global human settlements and their environment. To give worldwide coverage to the ideals of the urban and regional planning, not only within the profession, but also among the general public. So this is all about the Town Planning Day. And now we are having this tree of town planning, the art and science of ordering the use of land and siting of building and communication route as to secure the maximum participation degree of economy, convenience, and beauty. An attempt to formulate the principles guide us in creating a civilized physical background for human life, whose main importance is the foreseeing and guiding the changes. an art of shaping and guiding the physical growth of the town, creating buildings and environment to meet the various needs such as social, cultural, economic, and recreational, etc., and to provide healthy conditions for both rich and poor to live, to work, and to play or relax. Thus, the bringing. This is the town planning tray we are having. The way we have social and economic development, improvement of life quality, responsible administration of resources, and environment protection. And this is a rational use of the land, which is very important nowadays, because we know the land cannot be created. It have to be used very properly. And the town planning is all about to use the land in a better positions. This is the all about our town planning day celebrations. Again, I'm congratulating all my fellow colleagues on the town planning day, and especially thanks goes to Amity University and the officials of the university and the planning college, who was the main key persons in that, and they invite us to participate with you. Thank you very much, ma'am. So now we come to the very relevant topic today, which is inclusive growth development. Inclusive, we all know that inclusive means including everything. So this inclusive growth planning is a very new word nowadays, and it is very much a requirement of the day nowadays. So I will starting with my introduction. And the inclusive growth means inclusive growth that creates employment opportunities and the help in reducing poverty. The economic growth should have like that, which create the economic so that when the employment will come, the poverty will be low down. So it is a reducing relationship with they have. Having access to essential services in health and the education by the poor includes providing equality of the opportunities, empowering people through education and skill development. Also encompasses a growth process that is environmental friendly growth, aims for good governance and help in creation of the gender sensitive society. Is when all members of the society participate in and contribute to the growth process equally, regardless of their individual circumstances. Is one that emphasizes that the economic opportunities created by growth are liable to all, particularly the poor, to the maximum extent which is possible. The conceptual definition of inclusive growth. In discussing the concept of inclusive economic growth is not considered the end, but is means to achieve decent living conditions based on the sustenance made by food, medicine, shelter, and protection, and the self-esteem, which means the identity, dignity, respect, honor, and the recognitions, and freedom, release from bondages, ability to make choices, and self-acculations. This is the inclusive growth in its simplest form. Means growth that is responsible indeed, fairly shared, and that corresponds to the both equality and the equity. How to make it happen? Inclusive growth is about embedding equity into the development process, which demand a strong shift in the resources and capabilities, stakeholders and organizations incentives, and truth across and trust across the social networks. This is the tree which is showing you the adaptive approaches and mindset hona chahiye. Inclusive growth, which is having this technical expertise and the community engagement. This can be best achieved through a platform for transform change that is created by bringing together these components in execution. Next. Now we come to the need for the inclusive growth. Why we need this inclusive growth? Because the rapid and sustained poverty reductions require inclusive growth, but this permits people to contribute to and benefit from the economic growth. Rapid growth is necessary to reduce poverty, but this growth to be sustainable in the long run, it should be broad-based across sectors and inclusive of the large part of the country's labor force. Many intellectuals and government executives essentially that the inclusive growth is required for the sustainable development and impartial distribution of the wealth. The challenges for Indian government is to take the level of the growth to all sections of the society is to all parts of the country. The best way to realize the inclusive growth is through developing people's talent by using multi-dimensional approach towards education, and the skill development is essential to achieve growth. The exclusion in terms of low agriculture growth, low quality employment growth, low human development, rural-urban divides, gender and socioeconomic qualities, and regional disparities are the problem for the nation that we are facing now. The challenges for skill shortage can be addressed through the public-private partnership. the element of the inclusive growth. This is the poverty reduction, industrial development, reduction in regional disparity, environment protection, and employment generation, agriculture development, social sector development, equal distribution of the income. These are the points and the elements of the inclusive growth. Measures to be taken to achieve inclusive growth. There are the following measures we have to be taken while we have to achieve the growth. जो Indian government is doing mostly. Several schemes are being implemented by government for inclusive growth, which is including the following: Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Manrega, which is very famous scheme, and it is not going to stop anyway. People is trying to stop it, but it is a very popular scheme. It is giving employment to the rural area at the root of our system. Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, Mudra Bank Scheme, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, National Rural Health Mission at NHRM, Bharat Nirman, Swachh Bharat Mission, Mission Ayushman, and Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. These are the some famous initiative taken by the Indian government. And Niti Aayog also having some strategy for New India at the rate 75 has the following objectives of the inclusive growth: to have a rapid growth which reaches 9 to 10% by 2022-23, which is inclusive, clean, sustainable, and formalized. To leverage technology for inclusive, sustainable, and participatory development by the 2022-23. To have an inclusive development of the cities, to ensure that the urban poor and the slum developers, to make schools more inclusive by addressing the barriers related to the physical environment, admission procedure, as well as the curriculum design. To make higher education more inclusive for the most vulnerable groups, to prepare an inclusive policy framework with citizen at the center. Now, the most important part which we discuss, even though Sanjay also discussed that very wisely, this is public participation. Public participation is not just a moral argument, it is strong accountability mechanism. To research recognize the public participation necessary in decision making process should be public affair. Those citizens are involved at the grassroots levels. The essential use of tools and techniques, smart use of ITs, awareness programs encourage equal participation by both men and the women, which need to be built by public participation strongly. The work of some ULBs and NGOs seem good enough and need to take the lead for capacity building of the citizens to enable to the participate in the governance of their cities. As per the 74th NCPL creates a new tier of decision making in the each municipalities called World Committee. The area Sabha, this needs to be made practical to boost community participation at the grassroots level. And in order to make the planning process more sustainable and acceptable, the policy should be respond to need of the end and not just make provision for the same. And you will see when we are in Municipal Corporation Gurgaon, we increase the public participation, even though when we form the Gurgaon Development, Metropolitan Development Authority, the public participation was at large, the people were called. And this is the way to develop the techniques and the planning processes for the persons who need it. So public participation is very much important these things. Next, development plans. As we all know, the master plans and development plans has been prepared to plan out the strategy of the planning, and the stakeholder can be identified through sector wise and geographical reasons. The publication of the same is recommended to the decentralized and held as a major location of the development areas where maximum people can reach, like in major development areas, the core city, central business district, etc. And the public interest is, we are taking a Gujarat example in that the percentage of objective against total population is very low, because notification published in government gadget in Gujarat has very limited circulation, and the notification published on the notice board of local authorities is very few people. I'm just taking the Gujarat example. We can take any cities, and this more or less the situation is same. Village wise consolidations made to achieve dynamic world-class center of the industrial excellence, high quality infrastructure, community and leisure facilities, sustainable use of the scarce resources. And suggestion and objections has been called there. and modification based on the above incorporated in this. The development plan is based on the public participation. What I mean to say that. The second is very popular schemes of Gujarat is the town planning schemes. Even though Haryana do have some town planning schemes, the model towns separation are these town planning schemes although, but they are has been on the back seat now. But Gujarat is pioneer in that developing the town planning scheme, as we are the pioneer in the public participations or colonizers areas. So town planning schemes, the owner meeting and consultation should be made on the site of the schemes itself for people to have access to such public hearing meetings and maximize the people participation. And the public interface, what we incorporate the draft town planning schemes put on the public display in the Development Authority office. The stakeholders are notified through newspaper and requested to provide objection in writing. Owner's meeting is conveyed in the Development Authority. Participation varies because of the individual interest. The TP schemes are implemented in Ahmedabad and Gonda, Kamchan, and various cities of the Gujarat. Every landowner is consulted. This is very important. Every landowner has been consulted. Every people made aware about the concept and the process. Plot level planning published for public interception, each and every final plot to get road access and all the infrastructure. So this is the very much public participation way. This may public has participated in the largely. In fact, in Haryana also we are publishing development plan. We are having development plan के लिए district level planning committee होती है हमारी, उसके बाद में state level planning committee. And we published a development plan and then we call objection suggestion for 1 month time, and after the development plan is amended according to the suggestion objections received there. So public participation is a must if we want a inclusive growth and a fair dealing in it. So thank you very much, ma'am. It's finishing from my side. So over to next speaker, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your very practical and field-based views and providing us time. Now, I would like to again invite Professor Dr. Ela Gupta, Director, Amity School of Architecture and Planning, to introduce the workshop. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kamal. I'll also share my screen. Yeah. Is the screen visible?
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay. Looks like there is a problem. Shashi, you have my presentation. Can you please share?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, could you please stop sharing? Hello? Yes.
Dr. Shashi, I think there is some connection error at ma'am's side. Now it is coming.
Is it visible?
Yeah, now it is coming. But perhaps ma'am is joining again. Dear participants, I just would like to mention that due to some technical error, ma'am got disconnected from this platform. She is joining us soon. To please wait.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for the technical problem. I just got locked out of the meeting while I tried to share my screen. So, am I audible now, Shashi Kumar?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so much. So, I'm here to introduce you to the workshop because most of the participants are here. They have joined. So, next slide, Shashi, please. Yeah. So as it has been discussed in the previous sessions that inclusive growth as defined by the UNDP is the process and the outcome where all groups of people have participated in the growth and have benefited equitably from it. So the growth is for everyone and everybody has to benefit from all our policies. Next. Yeah, so although we totally acknowledge that urban and rural equity in planning is important, and rural development and inclusive development for rural areas is also important, but this workshop specifically focuses on the urban inclusivity because the concept and the process is entirely different for urban inclusion as well as rural inclusion. So here we are focusing on urban inclusion as previous slide, Shashi. As from this graph, you may see that urban population is increasing at a very rapid rate in India. And if you see the projections, it is going to be much, much more. So hence, there is increasing need that at present we have to focus on urban inclusion, urban development in India. And hence, we are hosting this particular 1 week workshop. Next. Next slide, Shashi. Yeah. So from these maps, you can see that world's largest cities are we are hosting. So out of 10 most world's largest cities, we have 3, Mumbai, Delhi, and Kolkata, which is a huge number. And if you see the projections for 25, 2050, and 2075, they are going to increase more and more with this kind of urbanization. And if we don't take steps right now, we are going to face lots of problems and lots of more socioeconomic issues in our cities. Next. So we have a urban population of 410 million, and we are the second largest urban community in the world. So hence it is our aim in India to achieve faster, more inclusive and sustainable growth. The growth has to be faster because the population is increasing. So whatever policies and whatever development processes is happening, they have to be faster. They have to be inclusive because we don't want to leave some sections of society behind, and the sustainability because we have to take steps at this point of time. Next. So with this rapid urbanization, there are lots of problems our cities are facing. Like we all know that we are having problems of congestions. We are specifically talking about metro cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and others. So we all are facing this problem of congestion because of huge population, huge migrant population coming into the cities, and there is less space to accommodate all of them. Then there is issue with housing because there is not enough housing to accommodate all those, and hence slums are developing. The transport issues, we take a lot of time we spend a lot of time in traffic and transport on roads. Employment is an issue. Because of this overpopulation, we have issues in education, sanitation, health sectors, and all these things increase the crime rate in our cities. And along with that, at the center, there is environmental quality. So environmental conditions are deteriorating, and hence that we can see from the air quality index presently, which we are all facing right now. So all these problems are associated with very high urbanization. And these are the pictures which we commonly see in our cities, the congestion, the slums. Although there could have been very positive points of urbanization also. There are so many good graphics also. But here in this program, we will be focusing on the vulnerable groups or the underprivileged people and how to include them in our workshop. So next. So why inclusivity is already explained by Mr. Chauhan and by Mr. Sanjay Kumar, that development is a holistic process and its benefits should be available to all citizens. It should not be confined to a particular section of society. All the vulnerable groups which are generally excluded from the development process, which they eventually get excluded, are urban poor, the women, ethnic minorities, children, elderly people. So our cities should be catering or responding to the benefit of all these vulnerable groups too. So there is this, if we talk about urban poor, there is this poverty trap which they kind of get into. When the incomes are low, the growth cycle is, the savings are also very low, the investments are very low, and hence there is very low economic growth. If you don't have enough surplus, how are they going to save and how are they going to invest? And hence their assets are never going to grow and they are going to remain poor. In the development cycle, just back, Shashi. Yeah. So in the development cycle, because of the low income, their education level and healthcare level is also low. And because of that, the quality of human capital is also remains compromised. Because of that, the productivity remains low, and again, which affects the low income. So it is kind of a trap which all our urban poor get into, and hence it is very important for our planning policies to have enough opportunities for all the urban poor to lead a normal life. This got even exposed during our COVID-19, when we saw a huge exodus from the cities to the villages. So all the migrant workers, they started going back to their places, and hence it exposed their vulnerabilities, that they do not have enough surplus to maintain themselves or support themselves for some time. Next. So India's poverty profile is also alarming. So there are different statistics given by different agencies. So this is World Bank, which has given that we have 20% of almost 20% population below the poverty line. So different people have defined the poverty line in different ways, and it ranges from some 20% to 30%. But still, it is a very, very huge number if that huge percentage of population is under the poverty line. And also there is huge diversity. If you see this graph down below, it is you can see that this richest 1% population has 50% of wealth. And if we see the first three categories, there are 10% people holding 76% of assets. And hence, the rest of the population, which is a huge number, do not get enough opportunities of growth and development. Next. So, since there is this huge number of huge population, which is poor and which are surviving with minimum wages, minimum resources, it leads to crime, and hence there is a lot of crime cases against women and against children, which is not favorable at all. If women are not safe in the city, they are not going to prosper. If children cannot move freely within the city, again there is an issue with the city. And hence, for holistic development, for inclusive development, we have to address all these issues, which we will be addressing during the course of workshop. Next. Yeah, so we all are familiar with the SDGs, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And many of them, they talk about many of these issues. Like the first is no poverty, second is zero hunger, good health and well-being, the quality education, gender equality. So this is all somewhere talking about equitable society, equity in planning. However, this workshop is focusing on this 11th goal, which talks about sustainable cities and communities. Next. So the sustainable goal number 11 is make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So this goal we will be focusing and we will be discussing how to make our settlements inclusive and safe for everyone. Community participation, as we all know, that it is inclusion of local communities in planning decisions to enhance community development. And it is the involvement of local people or members of a given community in decision-making process on matters that affect their well-being. So it has been in practice, as discussed by the earlier speakers, that we have been taking community views, but the process is not that simple. It is a complicated process, and hence we will be training our future planners during this workshop for community participation. So the key takeaways of the workshop are going to be, first is to understand the importance of inclusive growth, ensuring the prosperity of all stakeholders. We have to identify all the stakeholders which use the city, and how we will know the importance why inclusive development is important for addressing lots of issues which our cities are facing. To understand the importance and process of community participation for the sustainable development. So the process is very important. So participants will know the importance, and the process is very complicated. It is because our community is diverse, and to make sure that right community participates in the decision process is very, very important. You have to organize physical meetings. You have to take care of physical meetings with different sections of societies, different stakeholders, the elderly people, even children, women, and see what all are their views about the city and how you can enhance their lives. So that is again a complicated process wherein a lot of sampling is done so that everybody has enough representation. So that we will be training the students on. To understand the issues and challenges, back Shashi, to understand the issues and challenges in achieving inclusive growth. So like any other process, it is a complicated process and has lots of challenges. So we have to know the challenges before we can deal with them. And to envision a roadmap for urban Indian communities for inclusive and sustainable development. Again, it is important because finally all the planners are going to be the decision makers after a few years, and hence it is important for them to have a vision of inclusive development. So these are all the thematic sessions which we will be hosting. Let me quickly take you through the next slide, Shashi, take you through the schedule. So schedule is first today after this inaugural session will start at 2 p.m. We'll have two lectures, one on fundamentals of inclusive development by Dr. Shashi Mehta, and then planning for informal settlements by architect Mona Chandra. She is a very passionate researcher, and she's been researching about the informal settlements in Delhi for quite some time. And the pattern will be in the morning first half, we will be talking about, we'll be having all the lectures, and in the second half, we'll be having the hands-on exercises about development of questionnaires and getting the feedbacks. Yeah, Second day we'll have a guest lecture on child-friendly cities by architect Aruna Bharadwaj. Again, she's a researcher who has been researching and talking to many children about what kind of cities should be child-friendly. Then we'll have a lecture by Ms. Kumud Dhanvantri about questionnaire design and techniques for public participation. So she'll make you aware about all the techniques through which we can let the public participate. After that, in the second half, we'll have hands-on exercises. On Saturdays and Sundays, we have to conduct some public surveys, the sample surveys in the groups of students, which we'll formulate later. Yeah. The fifth day, we will have a lecture by Dr. Ajit Kaliath, he is Urban Chair Professor from Kerala Institute of Local Administration. He'll be talking about equity in planning. After that, we'll have a lecture by Shri K.K. Yadav, who is former Chief Town Planner of Haryana. And he is very actively engaged with the rural communities in Aravalli ranges. He frequently visits them, sits with them, and makes them aware about the sustainability issues. So it will be very inspiring to meet him and listen to him what he has been doing. Yeah, and the last day we have a session by Ms. Ronnie Flang and students team from Columbia University. So this team is in collaboration with Gurujal is working on community participation for addressing the groundwater depletion in Manesar, Gurugram. So they will be making a presentation for how they think about letting community participate in addressing some of the most critical environmental issues. And then we'll be closing through report and the concluding session. So this is how we are going to go with the workshop. And we are hoping that we'll get some very good results and good learning for our students about the workshop. So that is all from my side. Now we can be open to questions if there
are. First of all, thank you, ma'am, for discussing the scenario of urbanization related challenges in India and inclusivity in the purview of same. I also thank you for the generous introduction to the workshop. Now moving towards the question and answer session. Give me a second, please. Okay. First of all, I would like to ask you, ma'am, a question related posed to you. That is, over the years, inclusive planning has been seen in the terms of economic and social inclusivity. What do you think that this is high time for the planners and decision makers to must include environmental inclusivity into the frame of inclusive planning?
Yeah. So thank you for the question. And environmental inclusivity is definitely very, very important, especially these days where we are experiencing so many environmental risks and hazards and disasters. So that is important. But at present, to have our environmental policies or environmental inclusivity more effective, we have to first ensure socioeconomic inclusivity, because unless we solve these socioeconomic issues of the problems of urban poor and women, and so like in the Maslow's hierarchy, if the people are not safe, if they don't have enough surplus resources, they are always worried about their present. And if we tell them that, okay, after 20 years, you'll be in a position of environmental hazard, or after 50 years these problems will happen, they are not going to be motivated to take actions immediately, because what they are worried is about their present and not their future. So for the environmental inclusivity to be more effective, first we have to make sure that we are including socioeconomics. And if all three we can ensure together, then that is the best option.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next question, may I ask to Chauhan sir? Chauhan sir, there is a question for you.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. Sir, does public participation enhance the quality and value of political and administrative decisions? Participants want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. The public participation enhance the quality of administrative decision and the political decision, because the political decision and administrative decisions sometimes taken into the closed wall of the room. So the decisions may not be suited for the public. So when public participants come around, then the administrative setup and the political setup come to know it that what they are doing, it is not for the public, it is for the some other reasons. And recently we have seen one development. One thing has been imposed and again that has been reverted back just because the public participation was not there. If the public participation is there, then administrative decision will be more better and political decision will be more correct. So the public participation is must for any administrative and political decisions to be get it correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And linked to the same, there is another question to you. What do you think about the present share of public participation in policy making in the state of Haryana? Is it sufficient enough in your opinion, or it needs further encouragement?
It is a very tricky question, ma'am, because I am a government official also. Even though I will be true and tell you the right thing, the public participation at this moment in Haryana is not up to the mark. Even though we are trying its our level best wherever we are working, even though government is also trying to get it done in proper way, but even though the public participation, I tell you, in the poor shape and needs the attention to get it done.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I'll come back to you, sir, again.
Thank you, ma'am.
There is one more question to Dr. Ila Gupta, ma'am. Ma'am?
I think there is some network issue.
Okay. So let me ask you once again, sir, one more question for you. Johan, sir, I would like to address one more question to you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. So does the Haryana Regional Chapter play the role in increasing public involvement or public participation in decision making in the state? And if your answer is yes, then how?
We are trying our bit to increase the public participation by means of arranging various seminars, symposiums, lecture series that will increase the public participation on the various issues which are related to the public planning point of view, because our area is very related to the planning point of view. And after getting each and every seminar or lecture series, we are forwarding our recommendation to the government. And we are happy very few of the recommendation has been accepted with the government also, but it needs on the it should be on the basis, it should be the liability of the government कि whenever a recommendation or something like come from a seminar or something like that, it should be examined and implemented. That is not there. That is on the wish and whims. Sometimes the people consider, sometimes the officers are not considered. It's officers based. So it should be liability based. Whatever the recommendation is coming from the public domain, it should be examined. There should be a separate cell for that. कि such type of intellectual जो भी हमारे पास में आ रही हैं public participations या public opinions आ रही हैं, तो how we can get in the main framework of the planning or the developing for the public purpose, because at the end of the day all the governments and we people are working for the people. So for the people के लिए it is very much necessary that their opinion should be heard and implemented.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for providing very practical answers to the participants' query. Now, I would like to ask one more question to Dr. Ila Gupta, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. There is one question that what is your opinion on linking academia and therein research to support planning departments and government decision making?
Yeah. I think this linkage of academia, research, and government industry, this is very, very important, and this is a win-win situation for everyone. So recently, there are lots of initiatives in this area, like Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Rural Area, Rural Scheme, in which all the academic institutions are appointed as mentor institutes for the state governments, in which they can work together and work on some practical exercises of making development plans. So which is very important for the learning of students as well as for the governments. I think this linkage is most important, and we have to take special measures to foster these linkages in the future.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, to address these queries. There is one more question already pasted in the chat box. I would like to, whosoever would like to take this question, you are most welcome, Chauhan sir and Dr. Ila Gupta ma'am. Please share the idea about best practice, the inclusive planning in the sector of water and sanitation in Indian cities.
Would you like to take that or?
हाँ, I will take that, ma'am. Actually, मैं water supply and sanitation में बिल्कुल भी public participations नहीं है, because totally inside planning है. And what should the participation the people desire? That is to be specified, because whatever the demand है, that all is statistical. Water supply sanitary demands all other statistical. This much the people are residing there. This is the capacity, and this is to be done. So, in what way they want? This is not clear. So, if they get it clear, that's more better. Sanitation की बात, if there is a cleaning है, that is a different issue. But if it's out and out infrastructure है, then it is different. Because this is two parts. One is sanitation and another is the infrastructure. So if they're talking about sanitation, yes, there is very much need of the public participations, because people doesn't know how to segregate the waste, how to discharge the waste. So these things to be need public awareness, and public participation is there also. When I was in municipal corporation, I seen that the public participation is there. Although I tell you, the public participation in India largely in the big cities are there. In small cities is almost nil. Even though in big cities like Gurgaon, Faridabad and NCR region, it is not more than 10 or 15%. So it needs to be encouraged, certainly.
Yeah, totally agree with you, sir. And no scheme, no initiative can be successful unless public positively participates along with the government. Otherwise, there is the scheme. That is the main reason why our schemes keep failing.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Chauhan sir. And as we don't have any other question in the Q&A window as well as in the chat box, may I progress with the next?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I invite my colleague, Dr. Shashi Mehta, for the vote of thanks. Dr. Mehta, please, over to you.
Thank you, Kumar. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. So today's session on inclusive growth and public participation in planning was full of knowledge and interesting things. It gave deep insights into the topic and also revealed some thought-provoking facts. I'm pretty sure the precious knowledge that Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Mr. S.S. Chauhanji, and Dr. Ila Gupta gave us will definitely help us in our studies and future career. Now, I mention my deepest sense of appreciation to Professor Dr. Padmakali Banerjee ma'am for giving permission to organizing this session. We made this event possible and successful because of her support and guidance. I would like to my most sincere thanks to our eminent speaker, Mr. Sanjay Kumarji, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion. I may like to express our profound gratitude to our eminent speaker, Mr. S.S. Chauhanji, for giving an excellent coverage on the theme inclusive growth and public participation in planning and enlightening us with his graceful opinion. Thank you, sir. I also wish to convey my special thanks to Dr. Ila Gupta ma'am for providing us continuous encouragement and inspiration throughout the event. Also, thank you to all our dear students and faculty members present here for paying your attention and learning. Finally, I extend my warm thanks to IT team, Amity University, for assisting us in conducting the event on time. I, on behalf of Amity School of Architecture and Planning and the entire faculty of our department, want to thank you all for being with us this time. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shashi. Thank you, Chauhan sir, for co-hosting.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
And for the excellent presentation.
Very excellent session.
Thank you so much.